Hello, hello. It is day 19 of the Summer Scrapping Series. It's Audrey. Thank you so much for being here. I can't believe it's day 19 already. Oh my goodness. Today, my special guest is Hannah, and Hannah has a YouTube channel and she has a Facebook group and a blog. You might know her from the Crafty Maven Getaway, so please go check out her page today, and I think you'll really like her style. She has a lot of great videos. Okay, so I am working with some photos of my kiddos at the playground last summer, and I was going through the Maggie Holmes carousel collection. Now, I had already sketched out my design for this page, but as I was going through the papers, I found this piece of pattern paper that I just thought was so cute. It kind of reminded me of the park that we were at the playground, and I really wanted to try to incorporate it somehow on my page. And my design has a big kind of a circle that I had initially intended to stitch, and I am cutting out, you can see my silhouette mat sticking out from the top up there. I'm cutting out some circles from a cut file from the cut shop, and I think it's called the X files. And I picked these circles because they reminded me of little, like, I don't know if you remember the old kind of spinning things at playgrounds. I guess I've seen them nowadays at a couple of the new playgrounds where the kids just sit on them and you spin around in circles. Well, anyway, that's what these circles reminded me of, so I thought they would be good for a playground page. So my initial plan was to cut out a whole bunch of these circles and back them with pattern paper and kind of scatter them in a larger circle, like the larger circle you see here, and then, kind of embellish and go from there. So I cut that circle out from that large piece of paper, and when I'm cutting out these smaller white circles from the cut file, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work because the pattern on that large circle is very busy, and I had picked out some pattern papers to go behind the spaces in this cut file, and these were also very busy, and I'm like, this is a lot of too busy here. And plus my photos are tiny. um, you can't see, and there's a lot of details in the photo, so having smaller photos with lots of details makes it harder to see. Pair that with busy pattern papers, and it could be not good. So I'm just going to start, backing this. I'm going to see what happens, and maybe I'll like it. If these patterns were a little bit more solid, it may have been better. But like I said, they are not there. There are not very many solid papers at all in this collection. That kind of blue paper there with the polka dots is about as solid as it gets in this collection. So I'm not going to make you watch me do all those circles. I love how they came out. I love the colors. They're just so pretty. I kind of like this design here. It was not my initial plan. Like I said, I wanted to have the big circle centered, but I felt that this looked better than having the negative of this with the circle right in the middle. So I think I'm going to go with this, and then I start pulling out some embellishments and playing around with it and moving my photos around. And I'm trying to take the sticky off this chipboard here by pressing it against my hand. I do that a lot, or I press it against my pants or shirt or whatever to pick up some fibers so it's not as sticky. So I wasn't loving that. So I'm like, let me play around with this for a while, because I hadn't really played around with the shapes too much. And like I said, I had an idea in my mind going into it, but it can change, and that's okay. So I'm arranging these circles as if there was a big large circle in the middle, and like I said, that I was going to stitch, because I think I've given up on that background paper. Part of me wanted to make it work, like Tim Gunn says, make it work. I really wanted to add it in there, but I just wasn't feeling it. I love that piece of paper. I think I might take maybe these two carousel pictures in my two of these and blow them up a little bit bigger and create another page with it. I very rarely do that. I never scrap the same photo twice because I just have too many photos. But I'm considering it because I do love this collection. There's a lot of carousel themed things, or maybe I should just go back to the carousel this year and take more pictures. That would probably be a better idea. Okay, so I'm kind of liking this circle layout, and it does end up pretty close to this. Going through this Maggie Holmes ephemera pack, which is different than the past ephemera packs. This came in like plastic packaging, like little bags almost, and not usually it comes with like a piece of cardboard, the clear square box over it. But these were just kind of two plastic bags. Okay, so I like these pieces. There's like a pack of like littler pieces and then a pack of big pieces. These big pieces are just way too big. I can't see myself using many of these large pieces on a page. And maybe it's just the way that I design. Maybe I should try to force myself to use them, but some of them in that pack are just so big. And unless you have like one really big photo or a couple really big photos, I just don't see. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll have to just try to make myself work with it and see what I can do. Speaking of big ephemera things, I did pick out this phrase that said yay because I loved the contrast of the black. And I know some people are screaming right now, like, you can't put that cream colored paper on a white background because it is off-white a little bit, but that totally doesn't bother me. I know some people cannot stand like a cream colored and a white together, but I actually like cream and white together, especially when you have other colors involved. And like some of the bits that I backed those circles with have cream, so I like it. So I cut out some papers for my photo, and I initially picked this piece of pattern paper to mat my photos on because it was black, and I noticed the other side was kind of an orangey kind of coral color, kind of pinkish too, that kind of went with the pink there on the other papers. But I thought that the black was too dark and I wanted to do a little bit light, so I just flipped those mats over. Excuse me, and I like the lighter mats much better. I had pulled out a couple of these tags too, like they were like tickets, and I thought they were super cute. And one says carousel, and one says 2-person, like 2p admission to carousel. But I mean, now that I'm looking at it here, actually it kind of looks cute, and maybe I should have gone with that. But I do end up taking them off because I just thought that they pulled away from the circles too much. And, I say that now, and even my end design, the circles get covered up a lot by a lot of the other little embellishments. But, yeah, so I just played around with a lot of these ephemera bits for quite a while. I loved that puffy sticker word fun. I thought that fit kind of nicely underneath the yay. I do end up moving it over to the right a little bit so you can see it better so it's not on that circle. And I moved the circles around a little bit, just kind of playing with the color distribution because I did want to make sure that the colors were arranged. Distributed evenly. So you didn't see me do this because I cut a lot of it out, but I really pushed stuff around on this page for a long time and moved things and picked out new ephemera bits and put those on, and finally I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go with this initial design I had and I'm gonna start gluing stuff down. So I glued all my circles down, and I knew I wanted to stitch a circle. And so I'm using a white pen here to trace this template. By the way, people ask me all the time about this template. It is an old Crafters Workshop template. They do not make it anymore. I've had it for years and years and years, and I love it. So maybe if you ask, because so many people ask me about it, maybe if you send them an email, they'll start producing it again. So I wanted to, silly me, I glued all those circles down and then stitched, and I remembered, oh my gosh, I wanted to add a little bit of kind of a minty greenish blue to the background. So I really try to work some magic here by spreading some gelato around, and I didn't even put gesso down, and it wasn't spreading very well, and I'm like, I am going to destroy this page because I'm just making a mess, and I didn't want the white edges of my circles to get gelato on them, and I didn't want them to get any color on them at all. But I just keep smudging and keep smudging, and it is really, really light blue, and it kind of works okay at then. I mean, if you look at the finished product without having watched my process video, you might be able to think that I put that color down before I put anything else on. Although you can see that when it goes over the thread, it kind of gives it away that I added it on after the thread because the thread turns dark blue. But yeah, I don't know. It's not that bad. I mean, most of it's covered up by photos and the title card. So, but yeah, just adds a little bit of color to the background. It was just too, the background was just too stark white for me, and I wanted to have a little contrast for the circles because they were outlined in white and I wanted to have a little contrast for them to pop off the background page. So I go through a couple sprinkles. This is Heidi Sweat Color Shine and Seafoam, and then the gold. And I was thinking about trying to pull out more of the gold elements in this collection. It's so beautiful. There's so many pretty things, and there's a little gold, just gold details on things that I was going to try to pull in, but the color shine will satisfy my gold need for now. So I let that dry, and I'm going to go ahead and start gluing my photos down. I kind of wish, when I look at my finished page, I kind of wish I did not choose that paper to mat my photos in. It's a little too busy. I wish it was a more solid color to make it pop a little bit more, but it is what it is. So this is just gluing stuff down. Now, you'll notice I did not put the carousel horse on. You can see it sitting up there in the top left. And what I did not like about the carousel horse was that it has some orange in it in the top, like, banner piece. And, well, not orange, it's like a coral color. And I didn't have any of that in my page. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I bring that in, I'm going to have to add a little bit more coral color throughout the page. And I kind of like where this is. And so, and also it was really big. And it was kind of just, I don't know, just too big for the page. So I'll show you what I do with that in a second. That vellum paper there, that is vellum with flocked bows. So it's kind of that velvety bow. I love it. I cut one out. They're so pretty. Okay, so the carousel horse, I put all the way over to the left. You can see I just cut the kind of circus tent top off, and it looks so much better. And it doesn't cover up the photo as much, and it doesn't have the orange in it, and I actually like it where it is now, and it can kind of go along with the theme. You can see I added a couple of black and white elements. I love those buttons. They're so pretty. They came in the ephemera pack, actually, so there's a couple other things in the ephemera pack other than just die cuts. There's also some sequin stars in there as well. Speaking of stars, there were some puffy star stickers I scattered around to kind of pick up more on the black and white. I'm just adding a little bit of thread to the centers of my buttons. And with all those thread colors I do not have the shade of green that I really wanted. So I kind of make do with a lighter color green. I used to cross stitch a long time ago, and so I have a ton of thread, but yeah, of course not the color that I needed today. Same with the yellow. I could not find a yellow to match. Mine were all too kind of orangey or too pastel to kind of go with the yellow in this collection, but oh well, it worked out. So the only other thing I really add to the page, well, after I do these buttons, I do add a little tab up behind my photos for the date. I add a little machine stitching over the top of the word yay. And my journaling, and I think that's about it. And maybe a few more splatters. I'm not sure if I show any of that or not here, but I'm not sure if I show any of that or not here. So let me tell you about this photo really quick while I'm gluing on these last little bits. Again, this is one of those end of the summer photos, trying to cram things in. We went back to my hometown, Binghamton, and my mom and dad still live there. We went to a park that I used to go to all the time when I was a kid, and there's a carousel there. Actually, Binghamton is the carousel capital of the world because there are six or seven fully restored and fully operational, absolutely beautiful carousels. And they run all day long, all summer long pretty much. But brand new playground, and we just had fun. And I hadn't been to this park in years and years and years. And it reminded me a lot of my childhood, and I'm glad my kids had fun there on that day. So here is my finished page. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. It's kind of fun. I love the little carousel bits, and I love this collection. The patterns are so pretty. I can't wait to use more of it. So thank you so much for stopping by today for day 19. Please go check out Hannah's channel as well, and I will see you tomorrow for day 20, and then only one more day after that. So thanks so much. Hope you're having a great week, and stay scrappy, my friends.